We are in the second week of a series that is a citywide series, actually, that's called 40 Days of Love. And in this particular series, the purpose of it is to really be able to examine in our lives and certainly as community, to what extent is the love that we have, first of all, from God, and to what extent do we show it into the lives of the people around us. And part of that is to really examine and be honest with ourselves, to realize that maybe the love that we have really doesn't reach to the level of what God offers. It doesn't have that, one of the things, the powerful impact that leads to transformation and change. And it's the belief that that can happen, and so therefore we're just challenging each other and working together to be able to try to say, let's take a look at that. Let's look at this love and really embrace it in our own life, to maybe a relationship that we have that we know could really have a lot more love. There's a lot of things that we encourage you to do in this. So there's certainly the talk during the week, and again, this is going on citywide, but also in every church there are groups that you can be a part of. And I just want to encourage you in your program, there still is opportunity. We've had just the first week, and so you could sign up for any one of the groups that is in here. In fact, where it's a blank space, I forgot to change it as I look at this now. There's a group on Wednesdays in the Kugel's home. It starts at 7, so you can mark any one of those. But maybe you can't be in that group, and so we just encourage you, even as a family, to do it. There's magazines in the back, and we ask you to fill this up and let us know so we can pray for you. But if you're going to do it, you don't get one or a magazine's gone, feel free to grab one. It's got a DVD in it. It's got the workbook, and next to the magazine, there's a white stapled sheet about 16 pages that has discussion questions for high school age or for kids age that you can. The suggestion is that you as parents either do it during the week in a small group or individually, and then sit with your kids and say, let's talk about what it means. Last week was about love mattering most, love being the most important thing, and just being able to work together as a family. In addition, when you go out on the doorway, there's a magnet to put in your refrigerator that has the passage on there. That too is a little reminder. You can, when you go in and getting food, you can say, oh, that's right. Love. Maybe every time you open up a soda, pray to God about showing more love in your life. Whatever works to remind you. We also have these little wrist bracelets. Trust me, these work. I can think of several times where I'm thinking of something, and then I'm like, it's like the rubber band. Snap. Oh, that's right. Love, love, love. Got to love more. So, maybe you need that kind of little reminder, and so those are out there as well. Please take advantage of them, because honestly, in my heart, what I want us to understand is that don't waste the next 6-7 weeks thinking about love and, oh, look what I've learned, and miss the opportunity to let it change your life or to change a relationship that you have. We challenge each other in the beginning to think of one relationship, if maybe multiple, as some of us have, but certainly one where you can say, man, I need to have the power of God's love get in the middle of this relationship and bring about change. Excuse me. Last week we talked about love matters most, and that in this passage of 1 Corinthians 13, it describes that you could, move mountains, you could accomplish anything, you could be the greatest scholar, you could be someone they look to that they give the greatest awards to, you could be the king of pop, or whatever, but if you don't have love, and it's not driven by love, it means nothing. Because we were reminded last week that love identifies us as being a follower of Jesus, that God, who is love, pours His love into us, and so it becomes a part of who we are, and that we have to show love. We can't live without love, because therefore we really aren't a believer. In our head we might say, oh yeah, I know who Jesus is, but it means nothing. You're wasting your breath. But we also talked about it allows us to experience and show God's grace. That's what it's about, God's love and His undeserving grace being extended to the people around us. It gives us opportunities that, and ultimately it matters because we know that love brings about healing in relationships, in our lives, in a community, and in the world. That was last week. This week starts the next several weeks where really the rubber hits the road. This is where we begin to see, okay, what does love really look like in our lives? Where are the tangible manifestation, if you will, of love in our life? Galatians 5, it talks about love being the fruit, the very first fruit of the Spirit, meaning that it's the product of this relationship, which I just got done saying. It's in us. And so where do we see it spill out into the relationships around us? Where can we notice it in the behaviors that we have? Today we start about in verse 4 where it talks about love being patient. Love is kind. Webster defines patience as a calm endurance, enduring pain, trouble, etc., without complaining. That's patience. It could be simple, like deferring, spending money, keeping in a savings account. I mean, that's just a simple understanding of patience so that we enjoy it in later life. But more importantly, as it relates to relationships, it's that idea of maybe not having your will or not getting your right or not having the final word, the patience of stepping back and just not relaxing about it and knowing that, we'll let it work it out over time. I'm willing to work through this relationship even though maybe it's not what I have. Or even of just knowing that and trusting that even in a situation where someone is not showing any kind of love back, that I can still face that relationship. I don't walk away from it. I still stick it out. Webster defines kindness as a habit of being sympathetic, gentle, and benevolent. Kindness could be a simple act of opening the door for someone, and just treating someone nice in a moment. Or it could be the continual attention that you give, or the values, how much you value another person around that you show to another person. The thing about love, though, is it takes those two in and of themselves don't mean that love is involved. But love takes the two of those qualities and those actions and it fuses them together. It takes one attitude or one description of something that is a more of an attitude of patience and fuses it with an action of kindness. It takes something that's internal, like patience, and puts it together with something external in their action. Love brings those two things together. Understand this. Patience without kindness is tolerance. You're just putting up with it. Kindness without patience is charity. You just, showing it, but there's nothing attached. It doesn't really cost you anything. And patience and kindness without love is self-gratification. You do it for personal reasons. What you gain out of it, some personal agenda that's going on. And yeah, you think you're helping someone, but ultimately you're in a part of this. You're doing it because of something that you gain. Steve Lopez was a reporter for the LA Times, and he was looking for a story. In a chance encounter, he came upon Nathaniel Ayers in a park down in LA. What was unique about Nathaniel was he was beautifully playing a violin with only 2 strings. As he looked into the life of Nathaniel and he talked to him, he come to find out that Nathaniel was a gifted cellist who had been in Juilliard but then dropped out suddenly because of schizophrenia, and he's living in LA under a freeway. This story, you probably realize by now, maybe was played out and shown to us in the movie Soloists, which starred Robert Downey Jr. and Jamie Foxx. In that story, Steve Lopez is described how he got involved in the life. There was something about this story, and rather than just observe and write a story, he got engaged in it. He became caught up, and so he showed patience in the fact that he would adjust his schedule and he put more time in there. He was willing to take his time to try to work through Nathaniel within his mind, a plan of trying to get him off the street, hopefully make him better. He was thinking of all the things that he could do to take such a gifted person, wasting his time in the street, and how he could make it better. He showed kindness in the way that he he got a cello for him to play and set it up for him to play. He got him a teacher to help work with him with music. He tried to get him back engaged in music by listening to a symphony of Beethoven, and he just continued to work with him, and ultimately got him an apartment, and everything was coming together according to Steve Lopez's plan. And then if you've seen the story, there's a moment where he wants with his sister to sign papers to acknowledge that he's schizophrenia and that he gets committed and he gets on medication. And in that moment, Nathaniel responds in violence. He thinks of the conspiracy of what he's trying to do, and he threatens him, and he says, "I'll kill you the next time I see you."